I'm Sandy Tatum, speaking on behalf of the Executive Committee of the United States Golf Association to enlist you as a USGA associate. The United States Golf Association is a non-profit organization organized in 1894 for the singular purpose of promoting and preserving the game of golf. It does so with a broad spectrum of activities, which include the conduct of national championships such as the United States Open Championship, rules with regard to implements and balls that preserve the integrity of the game, the making and interpretation of the rules of golf, which are the means by which we define the game we play and ensure that all of us are playing the same game, the organization and promotion of a national system of handicapping to ensure that golf can be played equitably by amateur golfers wherever it is played in this country, and a museum and a library which preserves the memorabilia of the game of golf and all of its traditions in a lovely setting in Far Hills, New Jersey, and a green section dedicated to research and education and training on the proper maintenance of golf courses. The United States Golf Association recently has organized an associates program, the purposes of which are to bring the golfers of this country into closer contact with the USGA and therefore with the game of golf. There are some amenities involved in being a USGA associate, such as receiving the Golf Journal, such as receiving the Rules of Golf book, such as a bag tag and a decal, and other amenities that are of real importance. But the most important factor involved in being a USGA associate is that it identifies him or her who is one as being someone who specially cares about the game of golf and manifests that caring by becoming a United States Golf Association associate. So we urge you to do so. Write to us at Golf House at Far Hills, New Jersey, and identify yourselves as people who specially care about this game of golf and specially care about supporting the United States Golf Association in all that it does to promote and preserve this game of golf.
Inverness, Toledo, Ohio, and the United States Open. The memories come flooding back. (1920), when Britain's Harry Vardon, 50 years old, was 5 strokes ahead, then played the last 7 holes, 7 over par. And another Briton, Ted Ray, himself 43, relit his pipe, nonchalantly puffed, and proceeded to win. That year, an 18-year-old amateur played his first Open, Bob Jones, who finished 8th. And in 1957, Inverness's third Open, the second having been 1931, an even younger amateur made his debut, Jack Nicklaus, who scored 2 80s and missed the cut. And now, 1979. The ghosts join hands with the wind rustling the trees, and we seek modern parallels. Will America's Arnold Palmer play Britain's Vardon? He's around 50 now, too. Maybe he can. Is there a young amateur to play Jones? Bob Clampett, perhaps. He was a low amateur last year. Or maybe John Cook, the United States amateur champion. following the footsteps of Nicklaus. Now indeed a member of Jack's Muirfield Village Club. Nicklaus will play himself. 22 years and 23 opens on. And there won't be a Ted Ray. There are no public pipe smokers, indeed, no Britons. The leader of Europe's Order of Merit has been invited, but he's a Spaniard, Severiano Ballesteros. On his way to imminent fame, though not here. Also invited, the leaders of 4 other overseas Orders of Merit, including the Japanese, Aoki, and a Taiwanese, Xu Shang-san. It's all a reminder of how golf has changed since 1920. Its balance of power, its strength in depth, indeed, its democracy.
Sandy? Sandy!
Hey, this way.
Because here in 1920, Inverness became the first clubhouse to open its doors to the championship professionals. A gesture so momentous that the pros presented the club with a clock that still bears their humble message of gratitude. God measures men by what they are, not in wealth possess. This vibrant message chimes afar, the voice of Inverness. What of the Inverness stage on which these pipe dreams of comparison will be dreamed? It's a typically demanding championship setup as ordained by the United States Golf Association. Narrow fairways, deceptively heavy rough, and fast greens. At Inverness, rather small, difficult fast greens, burnished by hot sun and wind. Nicklaus's double bogey 6 at the final hole on the first day, and more so his second day 77, are blows from which he won't recover. But he does make the cut for the last 2 rounds on 151, which is more than may be said for other almost legendary names. Tom Watson, the favorite. Ray Floyd. Johnny Miller. Fuzzy Zoller, the Masters champion. Gene Littler. Ballesteros. And, less surprisingly perhaps, in his first U.S. Open, Xu. All these have failed, and others have struggled, like Andy North. Thus has the defending champion qualified for the last 2 rounds by a birdie. And at halfway, the leading contenders come from the ranks of the outsiders. Your commentator, Peter Allis.
Tom Pertzer, 6 years a professional, but only once an American winner. Second shot to the 18th, and it looks a beauty, if it's up. Yes, just pitches on the edge of the green and starts going down towards the hole. Just look at the pace on these greens. Pertzer putting for a birdie 3. So Pertzer, 69 today, the only player so far to finish under par for 36 holes, 3 under. But out on the course, there's Larry Nelson from Georgia, also 3 under. Second shot, 18th hole. And what a beautiful shot, pitch short again. In the crowd, incidentally, another Nelson, Byron Nelson, who won the Open 40 years ago, then became the professional here, watching to see if Larry Nelson, who won his first tour tournament last winter, can hold for a birdie and be the outright leader. And he's overdone it just a touch, but he'll tap that in for his par 4 and a splendid round of 68.
Nelson and Pertzer, then, the joint leaders at halfway on 139. Many good players 3 shots and more behind them. And our nostalgic parallels having a bad time. Palmer is 10 strokes behind the leaders. But Nicklaus, the real Nicklaus, and Cook, the embryo Nicklaus, have only just scraped through. And Clampett, our would-be emulator of Jones, hasn't made the cut at all. We're down to modern realities. The third day, more than 21,000 spectators, 88 degrees.
And now at the 4th hole, it's Lee Elder, 3 over par. Oh, right in for a birdie 3. Now 2 over and 5 off the lead. What a shot.
Of the overnight leaders, Nelson soon meets disaster. And Pertzer is ultimately unseated by the pressure of 2 men. One is Tom Weiskopf, 3 over par overnight, and reducing to below par today. The other, Hale Irwin, the champion of 1974.
He's level par, playing the par 5, 8th hole. Here's his 3rd shot. Maybe a little strong. Ah, but look at that backspin. Beautiful shot from Irwin. Irwin desperate for victory. Hard to believe he's not had a win for 2 years. But now, a chance for a birdie 4. A birdie 4, Irwin 1 under.
For Irwin, it's the start of a crucial burst. TV viewers see him birdie the 11th, the 12th as well. Then come to the par 5 13th.
An awkward side hill lie. This hole 523 yards. That's a 2-iron. Here she comes and right at the hole. Could it go in? An almost certain eagle 3 for Irwin.
5 under par and 4 strokes clear of the field. But now, triumph is followed by setbacks. He bogeys the 14th and 15th and goes back to 3 under. His nearest rival now, Tom Weiskopf, 1 under. Weiskopf has played the 17th. Irwin follows him.
431 yards. A good par 4. Irwin's 2nd shot. And yet another splendid iron shot, dead on line, trifle short. Playing with him at +4, Bill Rogers' 2nd shot. One of the few golfers not to use a left-hand glove in modern golf. And even better, but spinning back from the hole. Irwin with an outside chance for a birdie. And it's there. So Irwin 4 under par. Rogers, having got his par here at the 17th, is still 4 over. Only one other man under par in the total column, and that's Tom Weiskopf ahead at the 18th. What a lovely hole it is. 354 yards, that's all. A simple par 4. But is it? Weiskopf, 1 under. Here's his 2nd shot to this tiny sloping green, surrounded by bunkers. And there it is. Obvious chance for a birdie. Playing with Weiskopf, Jerry Pate, who won this championship in 1976, and he's having a good round today as well, coming down from 3 over to 1 over. Ideal position on the fairway. He doesn't care about the golf. Pate settles, smiles. Very relaxed young man. Pate's second. And inside Weiskopf, both with great chances for birdies. Well, the championship leader, Hale Irwin, prepares to play behind them. Just to wait a moment or two, just getting settled. Meanwhile, up ahead, Weiskopf prepares to putt for a birdie 3. This for a round of 66.
All right, come on, Dave.
Par here, 71. Round of 67, total of 212. That's 1 under par. Huge, colourful galleries. Now watching Pate. Can he hold this for a 3? He's seen Weiskopf's ball fall away. And he's done the same thing. Knowledgeable shakes of the head. Pate to par 4, round of 69, total 214, that's just 1 over par. But behind them, at 4 under par, Hale Irwin, again from the ideal position, dead centre of the fairway. Up onto this green, which slopes from right to left.
He's on, good shot.
All right.
Spins away, leaves Irwin a difficult one. Just look at that ball going ever down the slope. Faced now with a difficult one, and he knows it. Irwin on the last green with this long, difficult, curly putt. Huge swing. Here she turns, and well, he does very well to get it to the hole side. He'll walk up, tap in for a par 4, a round of 67. That's 209 for 3 rounds. Good scoring indeed, although it must be said, conditions a lot easier today. Far less wind than on the first 2 days. Irwin 4 under. The right-hand side of the board showing Weiskopf at 1 under, Pate and Pertzer 1 over, Lielder and Larry Nelson 2 over.
So the 4th and final day. Again, huge crowds. A hot, humid day with a gusty wind returning. And Irwin, the leader, has had virtually a sleepless night.
Still, with Irwin 3 strokes clear, anyone on the fringe of contention has got to break through early. On the second green, Bill Rogers, 7 behind overnight. Looking good, and what a par 4. Well, that perhaps gives us a sample of what sort of pressure may well be applied to Mr. Irwin throughout this day. Meanwhile, back on the par 4 first, Pertzer and Pate, both 1 over par, 5 off the lead. Pate's second shot first. Medium short iron, and just gets on the putting surface, but you can see the flag today very close to the front of the green. Now Tom Pertzer to the elevated green. So many of the holes here look simple, but are proving very formidable. Pertzer, easy swing, 9-iron wedge, up onto the green, and look at this one. Oh, what a start. What a start. There's Pate, former champion, that's watching Pertzer putting for a birdie 3. Yes, dead centre, goes to level par. Good start, as behind them, the final pair prepare to start their round.
Now on the tee, time Weiskopf, play away, please.
Weiskopf, who grew up in the state of Ohio and watched the 1957 Open here as a youngster of 15.
Hale Irwin, Kapalua, Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, that looks safe enough. I think Weisskopf is just off the fairway. But anyway, Irwin the leader by 3 strokes, as Pate and Pertzer play the second. Both safely on in 2, this par 4 hole. Pertzer a long way away to putt first. Looks a good speed. Oh, very good speed indeed. A second birdie in 2 holes. Now 1 under par. Now Pate. And booms it in for another birdie. Level par. And Irwin behind them hears the cheers and must realise that already the pressure's well and truly on. And word comes from the course that Gary Player, the South African, 9 behind overnight, is going great guns. Here he is, holing a nasty one, going to 4 over par. The man who in the 1978 Masters at Augusta began the final day 7 strokes behind the leader and won the championship. Now Irwin and Weisskopf at the second hole. Irwin still 4 under par. Again, one of those medium short iron shots. Looking good, right at the flag. Oh, quite superb. That's the way to keep your lead. Now Weisskopf, he dropped a shot at the first. Here she comes up and almost looks as if it tips the ABC blimp and goes through the back of the green. Trouble for Weisskopf. Dropped one at the first, struggling at the second. Gusty conditions here today, making club selection very tricky indeed. Weisskopf through the green and where all the spectators have been trampling around, difficult shot. No, stubbed it. Tried to be too delicate. Now facing a minor disaster. Has to hold this to salvage his par 4. No, so that's a 5 and another stroke dropped by Weisskopf. Now 1 over par. Now Irwin for a birdie 3. Yes, dead centre, goes to 5 under par. Grim-faced Weisskopf, 2 bogeys in 2 holes, begins to slip away. And now just ahead at the short third, 185 yards, Pate and Pertzer. Pertzer, 1 under par. Very difficult pin placement today. Swirling wind. And looked as if it was going to be strong, but dug in, went back towards the flag, which is very close to the water. Now Jerry Pate. The first prize here, $50,000. Oh, look at that. Oh, it just didn't stop quite quickly enough, but an excellent shot just inside Pertzer. That's the way to watch. Quite a swing on this putt. Pertzer, who's got off to a really hot start. Swings away, but that's an almost certain par 3 for Tom. Now Pate, as he learnt from Pertzer's putt. Big swing from the right. All the way a winner. What a beauty. A birdie 2. He goes to 1 under par, the same as Pertzer. As Hale Irwin follows them up this same difficult par 3. Looks to be strong. A little bit left. Into the crowd, they're stopping it. Are they trampling it?
The ball been laying dead right there.
Sandy Tatum, USGA, makes the ruling.
Yes, yes.
Well, in fact, the ball finished on a blanket. It was moved by one of the spectators. That constitutes an outside agency. Irwin has to drop. And as you can see, the slope takes the ball away, further from the hole.
I think it's one too close.
He has another go, and I suspect there's not much to stop this ball rolling, and we might have a place situation. In fact, we do. Right there. Very precisely done. Now, after a little delay, Irwin lines up his second shot. This short hole. Stubbed it a little bit.
Stay up, stay up, stay up.
Going left and running away. And you can see how the wind's whipping their little waves on the lake. Conditions not easy. Now Irwin for his par 3. No. So he drops the stroke, goes back to 4 under. While ahead at the 4th, it's Pate and Pertzer. This is a super par 4 hole. Pertzer with a long putt again across the green, this crowned green. He's playing 3, and he'll be very happy to get down in 2. Racing down across the green. It's right in the hole. 3 birdies in 4 holes, now only 2 strokes behind Irwin. Well, would you believe it? And way up ahead, Gary Player still going well. Now 3 over.
So much for the first of the 3 acts that comprise this last day drama. Irwin under pressure. Now begins Act 2, because Pertzer can't keep up this pressure. He bogeys the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and his end will virtually come at the par 5 8th, which requires we allude to the embarrassing story of the tee and the tree. The 8th is a new par 5, 528 yards, and on the first day, Chichi Rodriguez, for one, found a novel way of shortening it. He turned half left, drove down the neighboring 17th, then back toward the 8th green. Lon Hinkle made a birdie that way, inducing imitators. The USGA promptly planted a 25-foot Christmas tree as a deterrent. The players, or some of them, resorted to more ingenuity. Chichi teed up on a pencil and aimed over the trees. Hinkle tried steering between them. But the shortcut has hazards as well, and on this final day, Pertzer incurs them.
Playing 6 at this par 5 hole. No, and that's a double bogey 7 for Pertzer. Tragedy, because he's played so well for 3.5 days of this championship. And now playing the 8th in more sensible and orthodox fashion, Irwin. 3 under now, having bogeyed the 5th hole. He drove into the trees, it bounced back on the fairway. Here's his 3rd shot. And that clatters into the flag. And an adventurous hole for Irwin, but he's got a chance for a birdie 4. Weiskopf fading now, sadly. 2 over, but Irwin, after some adventures, putting for a birdie. And getting it.
4 under again and really surging along. 5 strokes ahead, 10 holes to play. Then 6 ahead and 9 to play. Shades of Varden.
Meantime, Gary Player at the final hole. He's 3 over. He's picked up 2 strokes on par today, and none of the other contenders has done that. That's a good shot. Over the bank, but trickling down the slope as so many have done before and getting further from the hole. It's a marvellous performance by Player, nearly 43 years of age, like Ted Ray back in 1920. this difficult putt for a birdie and a round of 68. Oh, it's there, quite superb. A 68, a score of 286 for 4 rounds. That's 2 over par, and the leader so far in the championship.
And out on the course, Act 3 begins. For he who believes Irwin is a runaway winner knows nothing of the torment of a tired leader whose game is going sour on the final stretch.
He's bogeyed the 14th, but he's 3 under with just 2 holes to play. Tee shot at the 17th, going to the right. Watching anxiously, but shouldn't be too far off the fairway. Good par 4, difficult par 4. Flag today, left side of the green. Irwin off the right-hand side of the fairway. He's walked up to the top of the hill to get a view of the green, and he's a little bit unlucky. He's just missed the shortcut of rough, but it's not lying too badly. The grass going with him, and I do believe he can drive the ball under the branches of that tree. This is a 5-iron. Yes, well hit, but it's a touch left. Short left and catches the sand and leaves Irwin one of the most difficult shots in golf, the long bunker shot with the flag fairly close to the edge of the green. Oh no. No, he shot it right into the gallery over the green, and it sounded a bit hard, and Irwin thinks so as well. That ball over the green amongst TV cables, and Irwin will get a free drop. Drops it, and this time the ball rolls closer to the hole. So once again, Sandy Tatum saying, place it just there. Awkward little chip up and down the green. Looks a good one, but this green very fast. Look at it go, look at it swing. And it's still going. Well, Irwin with this putt for a 1 over par 5, 2 putts for an ugly 6. And that's a very ugly 6 indeed. A double bogey in 1925, and double bogeyed this same 17th hole and lost the championship. Of course, Irwin still has many strokes in hand, but I'm sure he's feeling very miserable at the moment. Meanwhile, just ahead at the 18th, Tom Pertzer has finished a disappointing 6 over par. So much going for him at one time. Now Pate, who's 3 over, has this for a birdie 3. This to tie with Gary Player, and he does. A round of 72, score 286, 2 over par. A very happy Jerry Pate as Hale Irwin plays this same final hole. The 18th has been a crucial factor in every Open at Inverness since 1920. Only 354 yards, a simple-looking par 4, but full of trouble. Irwin can take 6 and still win, so it would appear to be all over. But is it? The dreaded signal away to the right, and tries to get back into the short stuff. Doesn't quite. Huge crowds gathering. There's Irwin, standing below the ball. Small green. Nine, that's going left. And thumps down in the bunker, and it's almost unbelievable to think this man was at one time 6 strokes ahead. He's still got a couple in hand, but there have been 2 playoffs in the 3 Opens played here at Inverness, including the longest ever in 1931. Irwin then, 3rd shot. Deep bunker. Must get it out. Yes, he does. Well done. And he can afford the luxury of 3 putts from there and still be champion. But I'm sure his pulse rate is running pretty high at this moment. Ooh, what relief. But not for Weiskopf. That's in for a round of 76, a total of 288, 4 over par. And that'll put him in a tie for 4th place with Bill Rogers and Larry Nelson. So near and yet so far once more for Weiskopf. Now the arena still as Irwin putts for his 4 at the 72nd hole. No, finishes with a round of 75, a total of 284. That's level par. He wins the championship by 2 strokes.
If the scores speak ill of this last day drama, consider also its leading actors and the stage. Inverness, beguilingly tough, denied any the right to break its par. And the 3 who came nearest are all past winners and proven champions. Pate gets the 2nd place medal. Tying with Player.
You run out of medals? Yeah. You got my check?
And the winner? The winner of an Open, of course, needs special qualities.
Hale Irwin hasn't, and he ought now to receive the award for that.
Hale Irwin, a 2-time winner. Only Willie Anderson, Hogan, Jones, and Nicklaus have done better.